Kelvin, how refreshing is it to have a week at home, to get some workouts in and games at home and not having to travel?
Well, the toughest stretch for us was from Temple to Tulsa, because that's when we were. That was the toughest stretch. I mean, you couldn't prepare for that because of kids in isolation, kids coming out. We went on pause on that Monday after the South Carolina game. So nobody did anything, no individuals, no practice, couldn't be around the players. We had coaches still in isolation, coaches still in quarantine. We were just I didn't know what to do. I was a mess. And then after 6 or 7 days, I can't remember, they said, okay, now you can start individuals. And then 3 more guys tested positive. So I think Marcus and Caleb both missed the Alcorn game. I think we got one back for South Carolina. I can't remember, but that was a mess. And then next thing you know, it's Christmas Day and we're on a plane playing Central Florida. And then, day after Christmas, we're playing 26. Then the next day was the day after the game. Then the next day is the day before the game. So just no preparation, no practice. What really helped us was when we got back from Tulsa, we were able to take a day off. And that's important. I can't tell you the importance of recovery. This time of year, allowing your kids to just recover mentally. This thing, the mental impact for everybody is what we deal with. But we're able to give a day off Wednesday. Then we're finally able to practice for Houston. We worked on us on Thursday, and we worked on us on Friday. We didn't even touch SMU Thursday, Friday, because we needed to fix us. We just hadn't had any time. And then you could tell that I think the only kid that we were holding out then was Tramon. I think he was the only one that was being monitored. He was going through some stuff. And then, but on Saturday, we looked like a team that could play a game. We looked like a team that could play a game. And then we got on the bus and drove 3 hours over to Dallas and got up Sunday and had a good preparation practice, and then went and played Sunday night. But like Wichita State played on Saturday, they gave their kids off Sunday. We played Sunday, and we had to come in and do work yesterday, and today's the day before the game. But at least we're home. Our last home game was December 20th, and tomorrow's January 6th. So it's good to be home. 3 straight road games is tough for anybody in any league. Doesn't matter what league it is. But it's COVID, it's what it is. It's the reason the league didn't schedule us 3 road games. We had to find a place to plug it in, and there was no other place to put it until March. And because whatever our open dates were, they had a game. Their open dates, we had a game. So I said, you know what? What if we do it then? But had I known we were going to have 6 kids test positive, I probably wouldn't have put it there. I'd probably waited till March. So one of these days, I'm going to get better at predicting the future.
All right, we'll go to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead, Coach.
Morning, Coach. What does Wichita State do well, and is there any difference in what Coach Brown does to Coach Marshall with the Shockers?
Well, their guys are all older and better. Last year, they had a guard playing point guard, and that's a big difference. The Davis kid from SMU is a point guard. He's not a wide receiver that has a great arm and they just stick him at quarterback because he can throw it 70 yards. That doesn't make you a quarterback. This means you got a good arm. Alterique Gilbert was the starting point guard for Connecticut. He played well against us when Connecticut came here last year. and now he's a year older. Their backcourt is really, really good. Gilbert is crafty, little point guard, tough, knows how to play, older, veteran. NTN is blossoming into a star in this league. He's coming off a game where he had 29 at Ole Miss, Mississippi. And then Dexter Dennis, he's as talented and athletic as anybody on the wing. I think they all fit now. They've got a point guard. They've got a 2-guard that's NTN similar to Marcus in that he's neither a point or a 2. He's more of a combo. And then Dennis being a true wing. Trey Wade kid, senior, older, better, more experienced. And then they have 2 size guys in Udeze and Chandler. Both those guys are about 6'8", 6'9", 245, 250. Big, strong kids inside. I think where they're better this year than they were last year, other than point guard, is their bench. And I think that's what's allowed them to win 3 straight road games. They've won at Tulsa, they've won at South Florida, and they've won at Ole Miss. You got to be good off the bench to be able to play on the road, because you always run the risk of starters getting in early foul trouble. For instance, Sunday, Quinn and Marcus didn't play the first half much because they both got 2 fouls. And, Tramon came off the bench and gave us a little lift at the end of the first half, scoring 5 points. I think we were down 30-25. And we once we got to halftime, we're only down 1, and Marcus and Quentin didn't play. So we kind of felt like, but that's where Wichita State is. Their bench is a lot better. The Council kid's going to be really good. Jackson kid had 14 against Missouri off the bench. Chandler is a veteran. And then Porter can get in the paint. One of the things that they didn't do great last year, which is why we had some success against them, is they couldn't get in the paint off the dribble. Couldn't break it down. This year, they're a much better offensive rebounding team. They play hard. I think this team plays more similar to us than any team we've played this year. This is a tough team. Isaac's done a great job. He really has. It's not easy sliding in, being an assistant, all of a sudden becoming the head coach. But boy, they play hard for him, which tells me all I need to know about their relationship with Isaac Brown. This team's got great chemistry. They play hard. There's a reason they're 2-0 in the conference and 3-0 in their last 3 road games. Good team.
Thanks, Chris. We'll go to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, go ahead, please, sir.
Kelvin, as you move forward with the roster, I was curious, guys like Jaylen and Tramon, to get them going, what will that allow you to do, with some things? I would assume with Tramon you could, rotate or use your guards differently, but is there anything with those 2 in particular that, as you get them going will help things?
Well, we got to get Jaylen going, because we're playing Justin too many minutes. He can't play 37 minutes the way he plays. There's some guys that play a little casual and they can play 40 minutes and never get tired because they don't play hard. Well, Justin plays hard. We need to get Jaylen back to the Jaylen around the 1st of December. And we're not the only team. I keep talking about this, but the COVID thing knocked them all back. Now they've got to kind of start over. But the 2 guys that really jump out to me that's been affected by this is Jaylen and Tramon. But we spent considerable amount of time practice yesterday on those 2 guys. We'll do the same thing today while working on our team in Wichita State. But time sometime is your best friend when it comes to that. You just don't flip a switch and say, we need to get him going, get going. That's not the way it works. When Eddie Sutton was the coach at Oklahoma State, he told me one time, he said, sometimes I need to call timeout and give him my do better speech. I said, what's your do better speech? He said, I just call timeout and tell him to do better. So, but, just time, confidence. We're into first week in January. That's what the calendar says, but the basketball is far behind. Nobody's where they should be right now because we've only played 9 games. And normally this time of year, you've played at least 15, maybe 16. Getting ready to play your 16th, 17th game this week. And we're on 9. So it's nobody's, we're certainly not. The thing I like about our team is, through my lens, we can continue to get better. A lot of things we can improve on. Things you try to improve on as the season goes on is the things you can control. There's some things you can't control. Putting the biscuit in the basket. I've yet to learn how to control that one. But the other stuff is what you can control. So we work on the stuff that we can get better at.
So I have to throw in real quick with Powell, has it just been everything from opportunities to freshmen, bringing him along, or is there, in terms of how you want to use him?
Who?
Kiyron.
Oh, Kiyron. Yeah. He's our third 5 right now. The guy we've spent a lot of time with. We spent a lot of time with Kiyron. Kiyron's getting better. He's going to be a really, really good player. The thing I love most about Kiyron, Jamal, Tramon is this time next year, all 3 of those guys are going to be freshmen. So this is a great development year for Kiyron. Even in the little bit of stuff he was in there with yesterday, he was doing stuff yesterday he couldn't do a month ago. When he got to campus, he weighed 193 pounds and he's 6'9". I think he's up to 208 now. Up to 208. Reggie weighs, I think, 227 and Bryson weighs 230, 233, 235. Fabian, is around 230, 235. He's around 205. The big kid for SMU, Ane, I think 7 foot and 245. Jaguars 6'9", 245. JC 6'11", 250. Can't play against those guys. So we're just getting them ready.
We'll go to Greg Bailey now with KTRK. Greg, go ahead with your question, please.
Hey, Kelvin, I'm just interested. You said earlier, I think Saturday we looked like a team that could play a game. What did you see that you liked in that work, and how did that kind of translate to what you saw on the court in your last game?
Well, that's difficult to answer because unless I was describing what the Atlantic Ocean looks like to somebody that's never seen water. I just know what my team looks like. We look better, we look more cohesive. Execution was better. When you have a long series of games, and this is one of the things that we ran into in the NBA a lot. Let's say you got 6 games in 11 days. You have 0 practice days. You don't practice. When I say you don't practice, you do not practice. So when you're not practicing, you automatically have slippage. You don't get better at something because you were good at it last week. You get better because you work on it every day. You don't have slippage during the season. Some things you're not going to be as good at. But we don't work on 100 things. You can sit down at one of our coaches' retreats one year. We sat down and I asked. I did this little coaches. Put them in groups and told them to write how many different things you can think of that we have to teach during the course of the season. I think we came up with 77 things, and that's from press offense to a press. When you think of your press, what do you think of press offense? You think of zone, you think of zone defense, zone offense. For every defensive concept, there's an offensive concept. Baseline out of bounds, what's baseline out of bounds defense? Baseline out of bounds versus zone versus man. So 77 things. Well, I don't have time to work on 77 things every day. So you have to choose who you are. How do you plan on winning the game? Defensive, you have the defensive end and you have the offensive end. So here's how we play defense. We don't have 100 different defenses. Here's how we play offense. We don't have a million offenses. We work on our offense and our defense. But during the course of a season, the things you do on defense, whether it's trapping the post or how you guard side ball screens versus middle ball screens, how you load to the ball in space, transition defense, covering shooters. Like, we weren't very good at that at all Sunday. We gave up a lot of open threes in transition. So that had to be addressed yesterday. We had slippage in that area. So that's what I look at when I watch film. Where are we slipping at? Because there's always going to be something, but those are the things you can control. Like free throws going in, no control of that. I wish I did. We'd never miss one. But that's what I mean by what is it we can control. But I think the best teams, the best programs have a very simple approach. I've always kept it simple. Here's our defense. It's what we're good at. It's what we're going to work on. Doesn't mean it's going to work every night, but at least we give great effort doing it. When you have the right attitude, you give great effort, you keep things simple, you have good players, you usually wind up having a good team.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Andy Yanez with the Cougar. Andy, question for Coach, please.
Good morning, Kelvin. DeShawn Darell is coming off a good game against SMU. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth, both from a leadership standpoint and really his fit this season?
Just experience. DeShawn's never been a true point guard. The only true point guard in our program is Jamal Shedd. He's a point guard. DeShawn is a good player who plays point guard, and we've had to adapt to him. We don't. If he were a quarterback, we don't give him 3 different reads. He's not looking for a deep post or a secondary guy on the sideline, and after that, then look for your back out of the backfield. He's got one thing to do: throw this pass to this guy and cut. when he does that, and that's what he's learned to do, is keep the game simple. Like we discussed some things with him at halftime. He threw a pass in the first half against SMU that the referee had a better chance of catching than we did. Didn't do any of that. Sometimes he tries to be Patrick Mahomes, and we just want him to be Tom Brady.
All right. I got time for one more question with Coach, guys. We're going to go to Mark Berman again. Mark, if you have a question, go ahead, please, sir.
Kelvin, what makes Justin Gorham such a good rebounder?
Heart, effort, toughness, and buy-in. When a ball hits the rim and comes off the rim, there's a competition for it. The guy that wants it the most sometimes is the one that gets it. But good rebounders are always where the ball is. Bad rebounders never are. Sometimes that's the thing. We put that plastic lid on the. When we work on offense, we put the plastic lid on. The way we shoot it, I don't know why we would even put the plastic lid on. When we work on rebounding, we're just shooting it at that round thing up there. But when we work on rebounding, you learn to read the flight of the ball. That's what the good rebounders do. They kind of see where it's going to come off. Nate was really good at that. That's why Nate could run down long rebounds so good. He could read, trajectory. Low trajectory balls usually come out longer. Higher trajectory balls usually come out shorter. And, we talk about rebounding a lot, but Justin's learned to read where the ball comes off, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it. Sometimes that means nothing. But he has a desire to do that. Justin's redshirt year, I could tell he was going to be a good player. His progress got a little thwarted last year because he was behind Fabian. And then we had Chris Harris really came along. Because somebody's not playing well, don't discount him or draw a conclusion on him. Justin's a good player. Jaywan's a good player too. And you'll see eventually how good Jaywan is. Kiyron's going to be a good player. Well, why is he not playing? Well, let's start with Bryson being a fifth-year senior and Reggie being a transfer from Arkansas. I watched Reggie get 17 points and 11 rebounds at Missouri. So what you saw yesterday wasn't an accident, or Sunday. I mean, he's a good player, but he's playing behind Bryson. Bryson's better than Reggie right now. So, with us, it's not a popularity contest or whether I like you or not. I know who should start, and I know who should come off the bench, and I know who should play and who shouldn't play. That's those things aren't up for debate. There's no discussion about it.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.